Happy Wellness Wednesday, everyone. Today, my special guest is Ardie Hollander at Ardie_yoga. Ardie is a good friend of mine and a Live Ultimate ambassador. She's all about being real, and I am so excited to have a conversation today with my friend Ardie for Wellness Wednesday and be inspired by her attitude and her tips for wellness, how she wins her morning as a mom, as a yogi, as a realtor, as a Live Ultimate entrepreneur. She's a go-get-it type of woman, and she's all about real talk. I know she's been waiting for me. Let's see Ardie Hollander coming on board. I got my shroom latte here, so I'm ready to go and have a great conversation. If anyone has any questions, if anyone wants to be a future guest of ours, so let me know. Send us a message through this channel or email me. If you have any questions for Ardie, she's about to jump on board. I think she was waiting for, here she comes. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're feeling healthy and strong. I just did a personal Instagram live about how important it is to practice self-love in the morning and do little things to take care of yourself. Otherwise, the world, doesn't seem as good as it does. Hey, there she is.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. I was just doing my 30-day challenge video. I'm on day 19.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So hard to do it every single day, but I'm trying not to make excuses, and I'm trying to just do it more often. But I'm on day 19, so I'm making it.
You got this. You got this.
Yeah. Well, how are you doing, Ardie?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fabulous. I'm a little hot. I'm in between. My kids are both at home, online school. So I'm in between my 10-year-old and my 4-year-old. But it's nice to be here with you right now. So I'm in good
How
company.
many kids? Do you have two kids or two kids?
I have 2 kids, 1 dog, and 1 husband.
Oh my God. Well, that's a full house. Okay, so
It
guys,
is a
my
full
guest
house.
today is Ardie_yoga, Ardie Hollander. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
just pin your Instagram here to the front of the chat. We have a bunch of Live Ultimate Wellness ambassadors and friends on board today. Luis, who was my guest a couple weeks ago, Luis Mesa, Infinite Wellbeing. I think I got that wrong, actually. Infinite Being 315. Paula, Health Evolution, my amazing girlfriend. We have a couple other people that are jumping on board. Gloria, Trees and Sea Creatures. I've seen her on a lot of our feed before. Wild Things Flow. Thanks everyone for joining us. My guest is Ardie Hollander. Ardie is someone I've gotten to know over the last 2 years at Live Ultimate, and I've been really impressed with her attitude and her go get it spirit, and just her sense of fun. She's always having fun. I follow on her Instagram. She's got a lot of family adventures, and I just wanted to get to know her better, so I invited her to be my guest. And Ardie, I guess I just wanted to get started with your wellness journey. Like that's where I always start. What got you into wellness and yoga, and being taking care of yourself so well?
So 2 things. I am a native San Franciscan, which is amazing because it means that for me, I grew up in a city where there was a lot of alternative approaches to health and wellness.
Wow.
And specifically growing up with my great grandmother, who grew up in Texas, very small town. She was very forward thinking, and I can remember going to Chinatown to pick up herbs, and I can remember her going in for acupuncture and things like that. So for me, health and wellness are kind of something that I've, coming from San Francisco, growing up in the Haight-Ashbury, you're kind of in this zone already. My grandmother used to take supplements. She had so many. Cod liver oil comes to mind.
Very intellectual community, right? Very
right.
very
But there was
progressive,
also the
very
balance.
holistic.
The
Okay.
balance of like holistic, but then also having cultural norms of certain
Mhm.
kinds of foods and things of that nature. So that's where I think my open-mindedness comes. And then specifically, having had an autoimmune disease in my mid-20s that really rocked my world. I don't run like you run, but one of the first races that I did was Beta Breakers, which is in San
I
Francisco,
know
which
Beta Breakers. It's famous. Everyone
it
wears
was so,
costumes. Gets
I
like
mean,
20 to 30,000 people. People wear crazy costumes. And what is it,
it's the
7 miles
best.
or something, or 11 miles? It's seven. I
Boy, I think
think
it's
it's
like about
seven
seven
miles.
miles. It's
Yeah.
the from one end of the city to the opposite. So long story short, I got involved in that, and I was running and training and working out. And then I lost my father. And
Oh,
I think
wow.
that not managing the grief triggered some physical things. So I think of us as spirit, mind, and body. So for a period of time, I think that one or the other can support the other entity, or not entity, maybe that's not the word, but spirit, mind, and body. So if you may have a strong body, but maybe your thinking is off, or you may have a very strong spirit, and it really doesn't matter the body that you're in. So
Mm-hmm.
in that process, I was grieving the loss of my father, but I was still physically very strong, even though spiritually I was. And it didn't take long before my body started to manifest autoimmune issues. And so from that, I went in and saw an acupuncturist. This is after Western medicine diagnosed me. It took a long time to get a diagnosis, but eventually I got one, and I started to change my diet. That was the first thing. And because changing my diet helped me to feel better, I started to move again after having been running and training. I was like really debilitated with something called dermatomyositis. So
What
essentially,
specifically did you change, removing like dairy
oh,
and grains?
so let me tell you, it was intense because I developed rheumatoid arthritis, inflammation in all of my joints. And so nightshade plants were the first thing to go.
So
Um,
tomatoes and potatoes.
Tomatoes, eggplants, red
Yeah.
wine, things like that. So I removed those, and I had an immediate sense of relief, just the feeling, the symptoms. And so that that took about a year to heal. I was walking with a cane after running, turned into walking with a cane. And because of that profound experience, that was over 20 years ago, or about, yeah, that's over 20 years ago now. But because of that, I'm very aware of what I'm putting in my body, and then how my body functions and responds.
That's amazing. That's so true. And if we just thought about that at every meal, I think we get caught up in emotional comfort eating a lot. Everyone does. I did the race the other
Yes.
day and I wanted to celebrate and had a little bit of a cheat meal afterwards. And I thought about it the next day because I didn't feel as good the next day as I should have. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, if I would have had like the vegan raw, like high end meal at like somewhere south of, they got those fancy vegan places instead
Yep.
of going for like Yard House comfort food late at night, um, then I would have probably, recovered better than getting inflamed even more. But CBD and all that stuff. And, we eat so healthy. I mean, we beat ourselves up. We eat so healthy.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with eating healthy 100% of the time. You don't need a cheat. So, but
No, you
that's cool that
don't. But
you
this
you
is
practice
life.
it.
I think
Yeah.
that's fair. I think one of the things that I love about Live Ultimate, to be perfectly honest, is that I am no saint. And how I came to the Live Ultimate products. Number one, I'm a prime soil for health and wellness. I love to move. I love to feel good. I love to support and motivate and be around other people feeling good. Um, but I'll come out and say it real quick. I'm 47 years old with a 4-year.
Wow. No way. Okay,
Wow,
I
I was
stopped it.
right.
Now we're gonna ask your beauty secrets later,
Oh,
because I know you.
I'm here to share them. I feel
Yeah.
like if you've ever been through something and then you can share it with someone else, then it's like double the pleasure, double the joy, double the healing.
You
Um,
look great. I love your nails too and your lipstick, how they match so nicely.
well, I love your red shirt.
Oh yeah, we're all red
we,
today.
we
That's awesome.
matched.
Yeah, cool. So,
But
so
so
yeah,
so I was
you
just
said
gonna.
you were fertile ground for Live Ultimate, and
I was, but let me back up and say I have a juicer and a Vitamix, so I'm that kind of person. But after having my daughter, um, and having a 10-year-old as well, I was exhausted. And Aaron Masney, who's he's my heart.
shout out to Aaron. We love Aaron.
Shout out to Aaron, yes, because I'm also a realtor. Like a lot of people here in Miami, we do a lot of different things. I think
We're
that's
gonna talk
normal.
about that. I wanna get into the realty section too later.
I will. And so I was saying to Aaron at one of our team building meetings, Aaron, I'm dying. I can't deal. You know, I was bringing the baby, nursing the baby, across the table, trying to figure out, you know, setting goals for our real estate um, business. And I'm so tired. I can't deal, Aaron. And he's like, well, you should try Live Ultimate. Stop by the office and have a shrooms latte. Okay, I'll come and have it. And so that's been about 2 years ago. And I never really stopped taking it. There are times when maybe I've run out, and then, some time will go by and I'll notice, oh boy, what's that? Oh, oh. And then I realize I'm missing some nutrients that my body's become accustomed to. It's a really easy way for me to get in um, all the greens and superfoods that I need without having to bust out my Breville or the Vitamix or do too much. I still do those other things, but this is super easy on the go. So,
That's what I was just saying in my video earlier. It's 30 seconds and it's one scoop. You could be, yeah, I mean, there's no excuses and it's $2 a day. It's so amazing. That, juicer, I love juicing too, but it's so much work and I'm gonna still keep doing it for the rest of my life. But I do it like 2 or 3 times a month. I just am
yeah,
not consistent with it because on the go lifestyle, that's what the elixir is for, and
right,
getting this
right.
raw superfood. So that's incredible. Well, let's keep going through your wellness journey then. Like, how did you move to Miami, and tell us about your progression?
Oh, well, this is a really key, important thing that I want to share, and I like to share this with people. Um, I was living in New York. I'm originally from San Francisco. My husband and I started a marketing company.
Oh,
So
wow.
the entrepreneurial spirit is deep within our family. So we moved our business to New York, Manhattan, and um, I needed a way to deal with coming from the West Coast, San Francisco girl, and being in Manhattan. So I was always athletic, basketball, cheerleading, that sort of thing. Um, Weights, resistance training. You know, my dad bought me my first weight belt. I mean, I love the gym. So I'm lucky that way. But in Manhattan, our office was right smack dab in Times Square. And it was
Wow.
really a different,
Intense, right?
yeah, it was intense. So I started
Energy.
practicing yoga. And I thought, well, self, if you're going to dive into yoga, why don't you do the teacher training program so that you really understand it from the inside out? And I did that 2007, 2008. And it was an amazing journey. And from that, I got to know my body a little bit more. And then essentially what happened is I started to feel uncomfortable. And this might be a little bit TMI, but I'm sure that there's some people that may have an opportunity to watch this that suffer from uterine fibroids. So I started to feel uncomfortable on some of the postures. And for those of you who don't know, fibroids are benign tumors. And they're not cancerous, but they can wreak havoc for women. It's just really an uncomfortable thing. Um, I should also add that I'd had them removed in my early 20s. Now fast forward to about age 35, 36. I'm in Manhattan. I'm doing my poses and I can feel this. Um, that led me to a doctor who led me to do, I think it's called the ALCAT, which is um, an allergy sensitivity test that you can take to determine what kinds of foods you're eating that may not really be working for you. So, one of the things that was revealed to me from that testing was that I was allergic to dairy, eggs, pistachios, and cashews. Um, and so, for somebody who was really into fitness, drinking non fat milk, egg white omelets, yogurt, and non-fat dairy yogurt, those kinds of things. I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. I thought I was doing some things that were healthy, but unbeknownst to me, they were causing inflammation. I was vegetarian at the time because, again, when you start to practice yoga and get really connected to your body, you're going to feel what happens when you're introducing things because ultimately we are what we eat. And so I was vegetarian at the time because meat just felt too heavy and too grounding. Side note, not saying anything bad about meat,
No.
just acknowledging that with awareness, you might notice whether you need it or not at a certain time. So I removed dairy from my diet and noticed immediately that what I had expected to be just, my grandma old lady hands, it was actually inflammation that I'd gotten used to living with, you know? And then um, I would say within a year's time frame of going vegan, at that time, no dairy, no eggs, I got pregnant with my son, who's now 10. So I got pregnant at 37 and had a very healthy, very comfortable um, pregnancy, with the exception of the fibroids. So those things kind of act up. But again, I saw this thing or this link where what I was putting into my body was either giving me health and wellness. And in this case, removing the dairy and those allergens from my diet actually gave me the fertile ground to, at 37, conceive naturally and carry my son with, with no problem, essentially.
Wow, that's cool. That I mean, that is cool because, like, seriously, I know after 35, it becomes more complicated, usually, right, for women to have
Well,
pregnant
that's
too.
truth. That's truth. But I'll tell you something honestly,
Or is that
this
just
goes
like
back to the
medical,
mind.
you know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wasn't keeping up with the numbers, like, oh, over 35, you might have a more difficult time having a child. I wasn't keeping up with the numbers. So, maybe there's something to be said about not having that fear in my body, in my personal space. But yes, in fact, there is something to that number. It's almost a magical number for
Wow.
the OBGYN community.
Someone just said that 1 month after taking both of the products, they got pregnant, the elixir and shrooms.
Exactly.
I know that
So,
maca is a fertility aid, or a pregnancy helps with, starting families. And that's in the elixir. And so is cordyceps and reishi. They're also powerful. Wow. So you started a family at 37 and you're a super healthy yoga instructor. Now, what made you move from New York to Miami?
I moved from New York because, again, as I mentioned, I'm from California. I'm a San Francisco girl. And so I love the city and I love the vibe of Manhattan. But that first winter, wrapping myself up and wrapping the
Yeah.
baby up, that was not okay. And I like to be outside. I like to move. So for me, I be, became really almost depressed and affected by the cold weather. And so it was just time to either move home to California or to find another warm place to go to. And so Miami was our compromise. So
Cool.
we're here now. We've been here 9 years.
Similar story. I couldn't function in Wisconsin where I lived for 30 years, and I took a couple of trips to Florida, and I felt like a huge boost of vitality. And then I remember the second I moved down here, I thought about it actually yesterday. I've lived here for about 11 or 12 years, but when I drove myself down the final, like moving all my stuff, I just remember when I crossed the border into Florida, like
Hmm.
how much sunnier it was in Florida than the rest of the country and how that affected my mood. It was like an hour longer in the day, and this was December. So Florida just really has some really spectacular sunshine, as I can see you're outside right now enjoying it. And yeah, so that's really cool that you made that health choice to move down here with your family. So you live in Miami Beach?
I do. I am a yoga teacher and feng shui practitioner and licensed realtor living here in Miami Beach. I'm also a Live Ultimate Wellness ambassador. And I think all of that's important to mention because um, my company, I call it Modern Yogis. And what does that mean? That means you, me, everybody, real people doing real stuff. So sometimes I think it's easy for people to say like, oh, well, you're into fitness, or oh, you're a yoga instructor, or you're a personal trainer, or you're a runner. I don't do that. That's not me. That's not who I am. So I think it's important to say that because again, we are complex beings, spirit, mind, and body, and so what you do for a living hopefully can be something that doesn't feel like you're working, but it's important to say that because we all do different
Yeah.
things, and so we all need a way to stay connected, maybe through a yoga practice or fitness, and then also connected to your health and wellness routines. So
I
even
love
though
that
I'm
it real,
doing these
yeah,
other
modern yogi. I love that because you're making it more accessible, whether it's running or yoga or it could be finance. Some people are like, oh, I just don't know that. That's not my specialty. I'm not going to even touch it. Everyone should know about wellness. Everyone should know about fitness.
Right.
Everyone should know about, I mean, how to move their body, which is yoga, whether it's
Right.
running or yoga. And I love that you say I'm a real, you know, person. I'm a real yogi. I'm a real, everyone's real. I think it's just some people think they look at that perfect pose. They look at, I'm a very fast runner,
Right.
you know, and they're like, okay, that's her special talent. I'm not
Right. I could
even going to
never.
try that because I could never do that. Yeah. No, I've
I mean,
done yoga. I'm not
I
that
did that
great.
this morning. I was watching your story and you're running and I thought like, oh my God, I just, I, I, I couldn't do that, but what can I do? Well, I can power walk. So that's important to keep in mind. You know, um, we think that
Oh, you'd be
sometimes,
amazed though at the marathons and half marathons. Oh my God, you see every single part of society out there. Every single person is almost out there representing. You see grandma, grandpa, you see, you know, 15-year-olds that are going for it that never even have run more than 10 miles in their life and they're taking on 26. Mark Wachter did the New York City Marathon when he was 14. I mean, who does that? I started running marathons when I was 20 and I was kind of crazy.
I
So,
love it.
but I love seeing in the marathons, like Oprah Winfrey ran a marathon. Let's
I
talk
love
about
it.
that. You know, like that was inspiring to me, you know, and then a lot of women. So there's Black Women's Run. There's all these new groups popping up now to just break down any barriers that remain. And yeah, it should be real running and life should be real that we can do whatever we want, you know. Um, yeah, you don't have
Well,
to
I
worry
think,
about a picture of it on Instagram or, you know, whatever. And yeah, sometimes we
right,
get good
right.
pictures, you know,
Right. So,
but yeah.
that's exactly what I'm getting at. I think in this time of social media, and it's very sometimes difficult for people to differentiate between what's real and what's
Sure.
not. What's the glammed up,
Produced.
photoshopped,
Yeah.
versus what's the real life. So on my post and my page, you'll find a lot of positive thoughts, vibes, whatever's going on with me, maybe with the kids. But I also feel like it's important to say, like, not every day is going to be picture perfect, and not every day are you going to feel like whatever your rituals or your routine is. But you got to keep it quote real with yourself. That's the word of the day. Real foods.
I love
So,
that. That is a real day. I was telling my girlfriend and a couple other people before we got on that it's all going to be about real today. We're getting real.
yes,
It's
yeah.
real talk with
Keeping it
Ardie.
real for yourself. Is this the right thing? Is this the best
Yeah.
thing, the highest and best thing for yourself? And
I love
just,
that. Highest, what's your highest, yeah, highest good, highest self? What would your highest self think about this situation if you're in an argument or, you know, if you're about to eat a meal? Yeah, that's so important. I'm really glad you said that. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Your higher self.
my my mantra for 2021. So if someone said, well, do you have a resolution? And then there were a few people that said, I'm not even setting a resolution, which I thought was kind of sad, but um, meaning like there's a lack of hope. But what I would offer is this. And I also find this with Live Ultimate, which is why I love Live Ultimate so much. Uncompromising standards.
Thank
That
you.
was one I ran with for a long time. Too many of us are very quick to compromise what we know to be in alignment with our highest and best self. And along that line of thinking, I came up with this commitment to excellence, that awareness. Does that mean you go crazy and you wear yourself out? No, but you make a commitment to excellence in all things, in all ways, in the way that you communicate with people, how you show up in the world. When you sit down to your table, what's important to you? In that moment, are you like, hey, it's a cheat meal and you understand that that's the party of life? You're going to have that party and we should have those parties. But then you also understand that if you're committed to excellence in your health, in your wealth, your finances, your relationships, that there's certain steps that you're going to take if that's your launching pad. It almost takes the guesswork out of it. Should I have a cheeseburger? I don't know. I don't know.
No.
So I'm not saying a cheeseburger is bad. I like the occasional cheeseburger. In my bio, you see that it says I'm a pseudo vegan, and occasionally meat is just fine by me. But again, each person has to
Yeah.
decide what their commitment to excellence is. Where are they compromising, and where are they upholding uncompromising standards? So I really can't say enough about that.
Moderation too, and, you know, not beating yourself up. You're allowed to be a human being, you know,
Absolutely.
and don't judge each other. I think it's just important to Yeah, to just have compassion, and that does go to animals too, but animals can be raised humanely and live a beautiful life. And we know that, there's well, there's a complicated discussion, so we will just leave it at that.
Yeah,
But
I
let's,
wouldn't even
yeah.
dare, but I think it's important for people to just know for themselves what's working for their bodies,
Hmm.
what's getting you where you want to be. Are you able to get up in the morning and feel invigorated, or are you sluggish?
Sure. Well, that brings me to my next topic. I'm writing a blog right now about tips to win or master your morning, and I've got about 10 or 20 good tips on here. I got taking the elixir first thing in the morning on an empty stomach and pure alkaline water. That's number one. Number two is gratitude. Number three, make your bed. Number four, yoga slash meditation, deep breaths, inversion, or aerobic exercise. Next, go outside, connect with nature. If you can, if you have time, ocean swim, earthing, grounding, sun gazing, gardening. Next, get shroomed. Then refuel with plants and rehydrate. Um, Got to hydrate all day long. That's going to win your morning too. But now we're starting to get more into the late morning, but still in the early morning now. Here's my next one. Avoid negative thoughts. ANT. It stands for ANT. I got that from, I think, one of my past guests, like Coach Jeremy or someone. Avoid negative thoughts. Nine, reflection and thankfulness. That's part of, I think, gratitude, which is number two. Mindfulness all day, reading your labels, being a good earth citizen. Number 11, kindness. 12, continue self-love. Take care of your skin, cleanliness of your body, mind, and soul. So I know you're a mom and wife and also a businesswoman. How do you win your morning with your family and with yourself,
I'm glad
master?
you asked because I do everything on that list. But one thing that I would add is that what used to happen for me, because I was coming from, the space where I could get up and go to the gym at 5 or 6 in the morning, and I could get up and do an hour long yoga practice. So for me, I've had to reframe what that looks like. So maybe I can't go to the gym right now, pre-COVID, due to kids, and now that it's COVID, maybe you just don't want to be in the gym. But I would add that um, that moment that you open your eyes, that you make the decision to fully inhabit your body and your being. So even before you roll out of bed, I would say the moment you open your eyes, I
So
tend
before
to
you have
make,
your elixir, because I had the elixir as number one. So the moment that's
yeah,
important. I
before
think
you
we need to
even get
back
out
it
of the
up.
bed,
The moment you
but I
open
hear
your
you in my
eyes,
head, and I have my elixir, and I
set
want to add
intention,
this
right?
for people that might be like me. I have hypothyroidism, so that means that my thyroid is underactive. This is something that happened after my son was born. Um, and I don't know exactly what's it attributed to, but I know it's very common. So for me, I have to take my Synthroid, wait a little time, anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes. So that's a little morning fast, and then I'll have my greens. But before I get out of my bed, before I roll over, I have to really take a few meaningful and intentional deep breaths. I set my heart and my mind, and then I set my intention, you know. And again, I will sometimes, right now with 2021, say to myself, I'm committed to excellence, because there are times when I'm exhausted. My husband wakes me up, the dog wakes me up, my daughter, my son is hiding with the video game somewhere these days, so he's not really waking me up anymore. But as far as my morning ritual, I really try to keep it super simple. Um, and this is for anybody that maybe is not a gym person or a morning person. You can immediately say to yourself, I'm committed to excellence. You can take a nice
I love
deep
that. That's a
breath,
great affirmation.
and affirm your day. That's right, and be curious about it. um, I think that's
That's
the
awesome.
biggest takeaway.
I,
Roll
I
out
think
of
that,
bed.
yeah, I think that's the best thing
FOB
we could add
yoga.
to our blog is I didn't have something for early, like the second you open your eyes.
Open your eyes the
Yeah,
moment
open your
and
eyes.
there's a gratitude. I don't, for people that have ever lost a loved one, hopefully, in that grief, there's an understanding of the preciousness of every morning, you know,
Absolutely.
every opportunity. Every day begins with an opportunity to realign and to explore, and so um, that's what I would add to
It's a
your.
very powerful moment. I mean, a lot of us, and I've been so guilty of this. I know Jim Quick says to do not do this, is to not look at your phone for the first hour of the day and the last hour of the day. Rolling out of bed, and you're just, second you roll out, because it's our alarm clock, it's our whatever, and you keep it close to the bed. I think I'm going to try to keep mine in my kitchen more often, and put it on. I like to put it on do not disturb overnight. But I also, if it's an important call, but like you said, the second you open your eyes, you're given another day, and that's pretty amazing and powerful and miraculous that you just sleep all night, and then all of a sudden you wake up and the sun's coming back up over the.
And
It's
you're
just,
still here.
and you're still here.
You're
Yeah,
still, and we're
yeah.
still here. And that means, again, as a mom, and maybe for any moms out there, or people that have gone through depression or might be dealing with depression, that's a powerful moment to really say, okay, I'm going to be very curious about what can happen. Um, I also have the ritual of I have a bunch of different mugs, but I fill my mugs up. This one says, actually, I can.
Nice.
So I like to pour in my magic potion as I get my
Yeah.
day in motion, and I really try to start the morning in that way.
It's
With,
important to have those messages, whether it's on your mirror, on your mug. You'll notice a lot of inspirational messages on mugs. When I had a serious stomach disorder in my 20s, a
uh-huh.
healer taught me how to set an intention over my food, that I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving thanks for this food, that it would be for
Mm-hmm.
my greatest and highest good only, and
Mm-hmm.
that I give thanks to the farmers, to the earth, to just think about it instead of just meal in front of you, start wolfing it down. I'm sure with kids, you probably have that. How is it with kids? I hope to have kids someday. I mean, are you teaching them a lot of the things, or are they teaching you a lot of things?
First and foremost, your children will teach you everything about yourself if you're open to it. Um, have a seat.
Oh, wow. There's one of the munchkins.
They will
I love
teach
his
you a lot
hair.
about yourself, especially those early formative years when they start forming words, when they twist their face a certain way, or they respond energetically to a certain stimulus in the environment. That's Kids are the perfect mirror. I love you, baby. And my kids, I realize like they're gifts from God. And even though they come through me, they're not mine, and they're mine, but their lives belong to them. They're little people. I try to think of them as little spirits and little bodies that I get the joy and the pleasure of the hard work.
You're their steward. Like we're Earth stewards and Earth citizens. It's our responsibility to take care of the Earth. It's our responsibility to raise our families, with the same love we were raised with, and even better if
Exactly.
possible.
And even sometimes to do just a little bit better, because when you know
Yeah,
better, you do better, you
sure.
know? And so
Yeah.
with kids, my son and I, we used to do a lot of yoga together. He's at an age where he's kind of figuring out who he is, but the yoga is still in there.
Hey.
Hi. Okay,
Hi,
Addis.
what's your name?
Addison. You remember me?
Her name's Addison. She says you remember her.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
been to the
Addison.
office.
Yes. Yep.
She's been in and out of the office since she was 2 a few times.
Oh,
So the
wow.
last time she came walking in when I picked up some product, I like to pick things up.
Oh, this is your youngest. This is your girl,
This is my youngest. This is Addison. Uh-huh.
Addison. Awesome. I love that name. So cute.
So with kids, just again, doing things like reframing what my workout looks like. So maybe I can't do 90 minutes at the gym, but I can come outside in the backyard and do 20 minutes. Maybe taking a walk to the beach with the kids for sunrise. If I can't get them to do yoga on the mat, I can certainly introduce what I call sustainable spirituality through these practices. So we'll go to the beach in the morning or go outside for a walk in nature, watch the sunrise, and just kind of enjoy it. But so my teaching with the kids has shifted. So it's not like being in a classroom where I'm going to give instruction, but it's really about setting good examples, patterns, rituals. It's kind of a tricky, sneaky thing I have to do. I have to be better than myself so that they'll be
It's
the
actually
best
so
versions of
important though,
themselves.
because everyone I think remembers their childhood memories of certain things. Like I have memories of us starting a garden at like the age of 4. We each got our own little plot, and we would get colored crayons, and we get to map the garden in the winter and create
Mm-hmm.
which, carrots here, watermelon here, strawberries
Right,
over here with all the
right.
colors. I remember that. I'll always remember that. I was like 4 years old. And then I remember
Yes.
going fishing. I remember going hiking. I remember my mom never letting us having sugar cereal, no cable, no guns in the house, no alcohol. Just, but it wasn't like it was like this like Christian, or I mean, it was Christian, but it doesn't mean that it was like some like Puritan. It was just more like we didn't have that in my home, and I remember that, and I remember my friends having it. So it also impacted my wellness journey, I think, to have parents that were pretty healthy, but I think they didn't know a lot of stuff we know. And the thing is, we are all evolving. I think that's part of Live Ultimate's message too, is my parents didn't know anything about maca or cordyceps or anything like that. And my mom's a pharmacist, and they both, went to college, but they didn't know anything about superfoods. So, but they knew about cooking healthy. So the next level is superfoods. The next level
Right,
is
right.
super high, performance ingredients. And
Mhm.
I'm sure you're giving your kids. Are your kids taking some of the products yet, or have you had them try like the elixir yet?
Oh, I'm laughing because yeah, of course they do. My daughter and I sometimes I'll make my elixir with just water, and I always laugh when people ask me this. Well, what does it taste like? Well, either I've given her a similar palate in that for her she can drink it with just water, um, and so sometimes we'll fight over it, and that's not a sale or me like fibbing anything. Sometimes she's like, no, that's mine, and we just
Wow.
kind of laugh about it with the elixir. But
So
my
she
kids
loves
get
the taste of it.
she
She
does,
doesn't.
but
Yeah.
my kids also make smoothies, so going back to what you said, um, as it relates to being
Memories.
a kid and what
Yeah.
were norms in your family. So my son as well, we make smoothies. And it's so in between classes, as a matter of fact, we'll do like a smoothie, or if we have time in the morning, the kids will make their own smoothie. It's super simple, you know, a
Oh,
banana,
that's cute.
fruits, spinach, 2 scoops, and it's super simple. So yeah, my kids definitely take the elixir.
So they're
And
putting the elixir into their smoothie a lot, but they also drink it in water. But I love that they make smoothies. That's so cute.
oh, I've got on my Live Ultimate button on the Love Artie site, there's a bunch of cute little times where we're just playing in the kitchen. And I think like, oh wow, people probably don't know it's just this simple to make a smoothie at home instead of paying $9 or $10 out and about and not getting quality. You can
Yeah.
get your organic fruits, make them at home, throw on your, almost slightly wilted spinach. That's another trick. You freeze your kale. If your kale is on
Hmm.
the way out, you freeze it and throw that in your smoothie the
Yeah.
next day. So yeah, my kids are definitely they I let my kids be kids. um, I did have the mindset of no junk food, no fried things, this, not the other. I was a lot.
Yeah, I think that's important. I was talking about a second ago about how we didn't have any sugar cereal in our house, no cable TV. Okay, nothing wrong with that either. It sounds like
Nothing
it's
wrong
like a
with
very
that either.
restrictive lifestyle, but it's actually good. Like probably have less cavities
Probably less cavities.
and less
Probably you can
diabetic chance of
attribute your
diabetes.
body
And yeah,
to a
yeah.
healthier body right now based on your childhood. I I would say that for me, a big thing that was important, along the lines of kids and parenting was breastfeeding. Um, I
Okay.
breastfed for a very long time, which is what led me to Live Ultimate to help, like, sort of replenish with the elixir. That was super easy. Um, but I feel like teaching your kids that, um, how to moderate things in a way that, that's healthy. So, I say,
It's
well,
like a treat, you mean?
well,
Like,
I don't even want to call it a treat. I feel like
okay.
having a nice
Yeah, because
kale
I remember when I
smoothie
was a
is
kid and I see
is a
kids in the
treat.
grocery store, they beg their mom for a treat and they get one
Yeah,
treat at the grocery store. I don't know
I
if
don't
that's
want
a
to
good,
call it a treat. I don't even
yeah,
want to call it a treat. I want to call it
yeah.
what it is. This is sugar. It's not good for your body,
Hmm.
but a little sugar won't kill you.
Okay.
You
So
can
you explain
decide.
it to them, you break it down that
Yeah,
route.
if you're going to have a cookie now,
Okay.
then maybe you're not going to have ice cream tonight. So
Okay.
which one works for you? Oh, I prefer to have ice cream tonight. Okay, mom.
Okay. So you let
So
them make the choice. Yeah.
I really try to as often as I can. Um, And the reason I do that is because, I had a best friend, and sometimes I would catch her. She was my roommate. I'd catch her in the middle of the night eating candy bars. Like, what are you doing?
We've
I
all
don't
been
have a sweet
guilty.
tooth like that. Personally, I
I
like
have one.
wine. That would be my thing. I would
In
get
the
her
middle of the
sugar
night?
with wine, but I catch her in the middle of the night. What are you doing? She's just nothing. I'm just
Yeah.
So it makes me really want to make sure that I'm teaching awareness. Like if you're going to have sugar, be mindful, you know, be
Yeah,
aware. You're a human. Enjoy this physical experience and the things that come with life. But you know, people used to say like, oh, everything in moderation. Well, I kind of tend to disagree with that statement as a blanket statement. I don't think that everything in moderation, but I think understanding the tool of moderation is important. You
that's
know,
a
you
very
don't,
big,
yeah, you don't need
you
to
know,
try drugs in
clarification. Yeah,
moderation. You
exactly.
know,
Yeah,
just gonna try some drugs.
yeah. Child abuse in moderation is
No,
terrible. That's not even. Come on. I mean, I'm just saying. But we're
right?
as
No,
long as we're going to
no.
talk about semantics, let's talk about, the truth, which is moderation is a principle, but nothing should be everything in moderation. Just like the saying, like you only regret what you haven't. I don't know. There's some stuff like that, like you're what you haven't done. No, you don't want to do all those things that get you in trouble and have to learn the hard way. Listen to your mom and dad.
Right, right, right. Well, you know, sometimes mom and dad know best, but maybe sometimes they were just doing the best with what they had at that time. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think if I can teach my kids to be um, fully present, which is going back again to, you know, when you eat, how do you feel? What did that feel like? Okay, when
Hmm.
that thing happened, how did you respond or did you react? And again, you know, with the yoga practice, when you move your body, you start to feel things in your body, in your space, and you know when something's off, and you know when something's, you know, going on that maybe your body's asking for your attention, saying, "Hey, don't do that.
Yeah,
We don't like that."
you're
You
so
know,
mindful when when you practice yoga of everything. You're very in tune.
you
So you
can
have your
be.
kids, yeah. So you have your kids doing yoga. Do you teach yoga privately, or is it something at a place where people can come take your class?
So I'm glad you asked that question because I talk a lot and I can get lost. Right now, I have this really wonderful opportunity where I'm working with the Art of Wellness, and they are one of the premier elite health and wellness fitness trainers, personal trainers, boot camps, those kinds of classes, and they are at the St. Regis. So I'm there 3 days a week, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. On Fridays, I do a sound meditation class, yoga, which incorporates my crystal quartz singing bowls, which is my new obsession. And then the other 2 days, I teach a gentle flow. My mission in life is and has been for a very long time to speak life. And I do that through the different ways um, that I live my life. So with yoga, also with the wellness. I'm so grateful for Live Ultimate because that's another way that I can help people to live their best life. And then I also do that with real estate. So maybe your physical being needs a little boost. So try Live Ultimate. Maybe your energy needs a little boost. So try yoga. Maybe your living situation is not conducive.
Toyota.
Try yoga. Yes, the yoga of real estate. But
Let's
yes,
talk about real estate when you have a
uh-huh.
sec too. I'm curious about it because I know so many realtors, and Miami just seems like one of the hottest markets right now because of, just the other day, Elon Musk said he wants to build a tunnel under Brickell to alleviate congestion on the Brickell Bridge. He wants to help build tunnels underneath all of Miami, and then Microsoft is potentially opening an office in Brickell, a huge office, and then all these tech companies are coming here, all these New Yorkers, rich New Yorkers, and rich celebrities and rich, like I'm talking Tom Brady and Giselle. I'm talking Ivanka and her
All the,
husband.
yeah,
I'm
the
talking
Trumps.
all the people that are, who else? I mean, there's, oh my God, it's crazy. And they're all living within miles of us. It's a powerful area. I mean, how is it going to be for the person who is more just, the school teacher, the young professional? How are they going to find their way? Is it a good buyer's market? I mean, what do you think? I'm hoping to buy a home in 2021, my first home. I almost bought one 10 years ago in Wisconsin, but I'm working with a mortgage lender right now, and I'm looking in like Hollywood. I'm looking in Homestead because I work in Miami Beach, but it's just, as a single person, I can't afford, the average home in Miami, even the easiest home to get into Miami Beach. So what do you recommend to someone like me or the market right now? Like, is it still a good renter's market? Is it a good time to buy? I've heard it's a good time to buy because of low interest rates.
The
Sorry.
interest rates are still low. They might be changing soon. So, but that's something you can check every day. Um, But I think the most important step when you're deciding whether or not it's a good time to buy, sell, or rent is to really assess personally what kind of life you want to live. How do you want to live? For me, having a big commute anywhere, coming from San Francisco where the traffic was crazy, I quickly learned that I didn't want to have a commute more than 60 minutes. So that would be my first thing if people
Okay.
that are looking to buy or to sell, to really get clear about, as you mentioned, your daily rituals. What do you want your day to look like?
Hmm.
Would you really be happy living in a bigger place, further away, but you're spending 2 hours in the car?
Well, nowadays,
That's
though, a lot of people are working from home. I guess that'd be the devil's advocate, like with
okay. So
Zoom,
that so
or
then
you can work in
that's
your office 2 days a week. And,
exactly. So then
because for
that
me, I would
alleviates
love to
that.
have my own organic farm, but there's nowhere to have an organic farm in Miami Beach. I'd have to have $1 trillion to have a farm in Miami Beach. There are no farms in Miami Beach. But I grew up and worked on an organic farm, and I used to have a garden my whole life. I haven't had a garden in like 10 years. And I see Homestead. I even see in Hollywood. I even see in Davie Plantation some,
Well, those,
opportunities. But yeah, I want
those
to be close, to Miami Beach where I coach and where I have all my friends. But
right.
it's out of reach out here. I mean, unless, you get a condo, like a 1 bedroom condo, 2 bedroom condo. But like, I would love to have a backyard, to have, a garden. Some
Right,
people don't want a
right,
backyard. I want a backyard, but yeah. So, I
right.
mean, are you helping a lot of people right now? A lot of clients? Are you building a lot of, stuff with yoga and with realty? Is it kind
I
of like a
am.
mix of everything together?
To me, again, if my mission in life is to speak life, I feel like these are the tools that I've chosen so that I can help people live the life that they want. So whether that means you're living in a condo in Brickell or in a single family home, which, by the way, when we go off, I'll send you some links to some things that
Okay.
my new broker, his name is Stephen Heck Realty Group. So I want to make sure I
Yeah,
say that.
definitely introduce me because I'm still in the super early
Heck
phase.
Realty
I haven't
Group.
even submitted any documents yet. Anything.
He's amazing, and the group is amazing, and they'll help you through each phase of it, because I know that it can be very overwhelming. And so I try to bring that yogic background um, to the deals and to the people that I serve. So this is probably the biggest purchase for most people: getting your credit,
Absolutely.
getting your documentation. Is this the right thing? Will I be happy in this property? Have I asked myself the right questions so that I can arrive at, my most desired outcome, the highest and best good? So I think right now is a good time for people to look and to buy. I think it's also a great time if you're thinking about selling. Just as a side note, there is a community farm here in Miami Beach, and I don't know how far away you are from me, but it's right in the 73rd or 74th.
Okay.
There's a plot of land that you just go to the city of Miami Beach and you can share space, and there's a small farm there. In
Yeah,
fact,
there's one also on Pine Tree Park on 42nd and 43rd and Pine Tree. I live on 47th and Pine Tree. So
okay,
I live on Alton and 40s, but
okay,
I'm about a half a mile away from a community garden, and I
uh-huh,
can actually have a couple plots in there. I just got to get started. I'm gonna do that. I just found out about it in the last couple months when I was walking my cat in the
hmm.
park. But yeah,
So
that's
that's one
cool.
way to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
love that as a realtor, you can bring your yoga background of mindfulness and of like detaching the ego and trying to help someone wrap, their mind around, with the things they should be asking themselves. Um, I think that's really cool.
Well, I think that's really, people sometimes get really hung up. And I think when you get hung up, it's really because you don't have the right questions to ask yourself. So it's not that I could extrapolate what I need from my life from someone else, but that person might be able to give me questions. For example, I was also a realtor in Manhattan, and I became a realtor there after I went up and down looking for apartments. I got really familiar with all the nooks and crannies of New York. And one of the things I learned in New York, which is silly, but when you go into an apartment, you have to turn the shower on. You got to know
Never heard
what
that
the
before.
right, of course, the water pressure. So the first thing
Wow.
is it affordable? Yes. Am I prepared? Am I organized and ready to move into this purchase? Yes. All right, now you're looking. You have to get a sense of the market. So you might have to look a while so that you know and you feel confident. And then finally, when you turn down that street, how do you feel?
Mm.
When you put your key in the lock, whether you're passing through a lobby with an amazing, what's important to you? Are the amenities important? And you've mentioned a backyard. My backyard, I bought. I got really lucky. I had a great realtor myself. um, I really wanted to have a space for my son to run around in the backyard. But coming from New York, there's pros and cons. There's benefits to being in an apartment and in a condo, and there's benefits to having a backyard. There's pros and cons. So if you're not really the person that wants to maintain all the exteriors, then maybe you're a condo person, and that's okay. Maybe you're a townhouse person. There are some places that I would suggest for you, Brian, that a little island that's kind of hidden over here. Most people don't know about it, Parkview Island. There are
Okay.
townhouses that feel like single family homes.
Oh
And
yeah. Is that up in the
yeah,
70s or 80s? I think I have a friend who just has a young family and he just bought up there.
yeah, it's in the 70s. And
Yeah,
so
I
it's
I
sort
did
of
a race up there. It's on a little island
a
this
little
summer where there's a
island.
golf course. Yeah.
The golf course is not far from there, but yes,
Yeah, yeah.
close by. So those are some of the things that I would look at. I know that fear comes up. It came up quite a bit for us when we were looking at this property. And so I think the way to deal with fear is to really just have the right questions and
Yeah.
try and overcome those. So is it a good time
And
for
have a
real
good
estate?
advisor so you don't get paralyzed by all the, sometimes you get paralyzed in life. I know I do from all the different, I'm trying to buy podcasting equipment right now. There's so many options. Oh my God, I'm getting paralyzed. I need recommendations. I need, advice from, so yeah, this is really important that you have,
I would offer one
yeah.
thought about that.
Yeah, go
Stillness
ahead.
speaks. Stillness. So when you feel paralyzed, it's
Stillness.
probably because you need to be still.
Okay.
you know, and not from a fearful place, but like, hey, it's time for me to take a little inventory, take a breather, and then proceed, you know. So I don't think that being paralyzed is really a bad thing. I think that I think it's important to stop and take time and then
Okay.
assess and then make a choice or a healthy decision. Sometimes we're moving and we're not moving from our center. We're not moving from our core physically as a runner. You know the benefits
Yeah,
of
sure.
stabilizing here. So I
Posture.
think that stability translates into everything that we do. So whether you're looking for podcast equipment and feeling overwhelmed because there's so many choices, or if you're looking to make your first home purchase, you know, um, stillness speaks volumes. Get calm, get centered, and then move in a heart-led direction.
And
Whether it's
don't worry about making the perfect decision either, right? Like there's no perfect choice for a home the perfect choice is the one that you're happy with. You aren't going to like compare it to another one. Like, oh, that podcasting equipment was, $3,000. Of course, it's going to be better than the $100 one. But
right.
yeah, I love that. I love that take is to not, worry about, take the time. That's really good. And I love your take on realty too, which is very refreshing in Miami because it's a very competitive market down here.
I think it's
And
really
yeah,
important to make sure that you align yourself. One thing I would offer is anybody looking for a place to live and to purchase should really also look into feng shui, energy, the chi.
I love
So
feng shui and chi.
if we're thinking about the energy of our body, the prana, getting good chi from nutrients and real foods, from the elixir, things like that, then we also want to be looking at our home, our physical home that we live in. Is really important to how you feel in the morning. So if you're waking up in a home or in a place where, for me, for example, in New York, lots of construction, lots of sounds. If you're a true New Yorker, then you're probably used to it. But if you're a transplant like I was for 8+ years, then you're constantly trying to figure out how to inhabit a place that maybe is just not suited for you.
Yeah.
So I would say this, uh, when you're making a home purchase, whether it's your first, your second, or whatever, it can be really nerve-wracking. And I would just offer for people to really try and stay calm
Yes.
and let the process do its work. To be confident, take breaks along the way. Again, I would invite feng shui into the conversation because You don't want to go into a home or a property, and then after you've gotten your key, you've done the closing, you realize, crap,
Yeah,
the
that you just
AC
felt
unit's too
pressure, right?
close. Yeah, definitely no pressure. You know,
There's
you
sometimes
really,
pressure.
no,
It could be also in your own life, just like, oh my God, I got to find a house in 30 days because I'm this and that. Or it could be pressure from the realtor, it could be pressure from the bank, it could, or anyone, your family.
hmm
Um, yeah, you
hmm
really have to be true to yourself. I love that. And I think that you need a trust between you and the person you're working with is so essential that they aren't going to push
connection.
you, a
Right.
connection. Yeah.
You need connection and you need support through that process. You need someone
That's
that's going
so
to
cool.
ask you the right questions. And there is a thin line between as a realtor, you really want to make sure that you're serving your client, whether it's a homeowner that you're listing their property or someone who is looking to buy. You really want to make sure that you're in the role of service, that you're holding space for this person to process the information. You
That
in a
it's not
sense become,
transactional. Yeah, it's not a
it's not
transactional thing.
transactional. You'll never be a
I mean,
good
it's an
realtor.
energy transaction and it's a financial transaction, but the higher good, the higher self is about service to others. I love that. That's what you're
Serving
doing.
others and
Service to
education.
others.
People feel
Education.
better when they make a decision that comes from them organically. But if it's,
Mm-hmm.
when I first started yoga, for example, I could barely say the words. Trika who? Trika what? Trikonasana? Oh my God. Oh, okay. I get it now. And so the same thing was true when I started on the path of real estate, just really trying to understand the language. So I would offer that to someone that's looking to buy. I don't really think that there's a good or a bad time per se. There might be some that are a little bit more ideal, more optimal,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately, again, stillness speaks. So if you're centered and you've done your work, your research, you've got your documentation in order, you've aligned yourself with a community that will support and facilitate a transaction for you that will get you to your goals. I think those are key ingredients.
That's really good advice.
That's all I could say.
Well, hey, Artie, we're coming up on 3 minutes left, but I want to use it and I want to
Mhm.
have a couple quick segments here.
Okay.
First one is going to be shout outs to Live Ultimate fam, to your fam, every fam in your life. Quick shout out section. Second one is uh, definitely. Skincare super. Well, let's do the shout outs and then last tips for people that you want to give for support. But yeah, let's do the shout. Oh, also, this is one I was forgetting. Shout outs and then I know that your team is very important to you at Live Ultimate. And if you want to tell people how to follow you, what social media channels, because this is going to live on our IGTV and also on our YouTube,
Okay.
how to follow you on social media. And if they're interested in joining your team, that you're building a team, I know. But let's do the shout out section first.
Oh boy.
Go.
On the spot. Okay, so a big shout out to my broker, Stephen Heck. He's amazing. Big shout out to Aaron Umasney, who was my previous broker that introduced me to Live Ultimate. To me, being around like-minded individuals, community is so important because when I'm slumped, I can always join Wellness Wednesday, get some tidbits, and then I'm off and running. A big shout out to The Art of Wellness. For the opportunity. I cannot believe my life. I wake up every day grateful and happy, but on those days that I have the opportunity to hold space for other people on their yoga mat, underneath the sun, on the beach, in the sand, it is just unbelievable. I kind of chuckle to myself that they pay me to do this. And it's the same thing with real estate. They pay me to go look at these houses. And I just love it. I love it. I love finding good energy, whether it's in a house, on a yoga mat, in my body. So super shout out to those two people. Super shout out to I don't know, my amazing husband who is working
I
on
was thinking you were gonna say outside. I knew
my
it.
amazing husband who's working on my website.
What's his
He
name?
is, his name is, well, I don't know if he's
Oh,
so
okay.
anti-social media, but his name
Okay.
is Ardie Hollander, and he's a genius. Um, and it's through him that I have so much respect for the entrepreneurial spirit. So I love Live Ultimate. I love Mark. I love you. I
Oh,
love the
thank you.
Live Ultimate team because I know what it takes to start a business, the sleepless nights, what you're doing when you don't want to be doing what you're doing,
Years
you're
of work before
still
you generally
delegating,
make
you
it to a
know?
point
So
of profit. Yeah.
so I am definitely adding, I'm looking for 5 people to join
Awesome.
my Live Ultimate family. Um, I'm hoping that these 5 people will quickly align with me so that we can start our February hosting I have some yoga retreats and workshops coming up. And so if you are curious about that, you can go to Ardie Yoga, or you can even better go to my website, www.modernyogis.com, and you can sign up for wellness retreats, information about virtual yoga, in-person yoga, um, and meditation. Let's see, what else would I shout out? I think I've shouted out quite a bit.
Modern yogis. So I know you follow your best Instagram is Ardie, ARDIE _ yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Mm-hmm.
also have a couple other Instagrams. You want to share
I
those quick?
do. I have Ardie the Realtor, and that's for real estate information. And then also Love Ardie, LOVE _ Ardie. That's more of a personal platform. But the other two, I try to really dedicate to yoga, and the real estate, obviously, to real estate. But as I was looking this morning, I thought, well, it's so funny. I have all of the real estate and all of the Live Ultimate information under Love _ Ardie, because this is where I show my love. Like, try
Mm-hmm.
this turmeric. Look at this house.
Awesome.
It's great.
Well,
So,
it's been an honor having. It's been so much fun. I've loved to have another powerful woman, strong woman, and family woman on the Wellness Wednesday today. I think this is our last 30 seconds. Do you have any? Ardie Hollander is my special guest today for Wellness Wednesday. I have her back in the future. I always like to have people back in 4 to 6 months. Do you have any last tidbits of words of wisdom as a mom and wife that you want to share with us?
um, just to begin your practice of mindfulness, always start by stopping. Take a deep breath, stop, then move forward. That's my big thing these
Pause
days.
and reflect, like be
Pause.
mindful.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't even have to do a whole big reflection. Just take a deep
Okay.
breath, wait,
Pause.
and then move forward. With your communication, with your business, with uncomfortable situations. If you've ever practiced yoga, the last pose is Shavasana. Well, I like to introduce Shavasana at the beginning of the class, so we can stop everything that was happening before, the vrittis, the mind modifications, the fluctuations, all of that stuff. We stop all that, drop into center, and then we start. So
I
that
love
that would
that.
be my last thing.
That's really good advice. I think I
Stop
need
before
that
you
advice
start.
a lot, to pause and to
Pause. Just get
collect
still.
and and
Deep
just
breath.
breathe.
Oxygenate your body.
Breathe. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Yep.
Okay, Ardie, well, it was great having you on the podcast today, and
Yeah,
have a
bye.
beautiful day. Bye, Addison.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Drink your
What name
elixir.
again? Before we say goodbye, what name?
That's Brian.
I'm Brian.
Bye. Patrick.
Bye, Brian.
See you in the office soon, Ardie. Have a great day,
Okay.
everyone. Happy Wellness
Bye.
Wednesday. Bye.
Yeah.